Nick and Scott. Ugh. That sounded like a fucking Let's Play video.
Hey gamers.
Hey gamers. What's going on?
What's up, chodes? Nick and Skydog in the house. We're gonna teach you how to monster mash your way through the fucking big red door in Mario.
That was oddly specific. Do you actually know how to do that?
I'm sure I've seen a speedrun of it before.
Okay.
Oh no, there is one where like, cause you know in Mario 64 when you have the stairwell going up to like the painting of Peach that turns into a Bowser level, like tricks you with the trap door. Like you're supposed to go up that stairwell for a long time unless you have a certain amount of stars or like a key or some shit. And like whenever you like I saw a speedrunner like just bounce on his ass, like somehow do like a long jump but also like a crouch and just like bounce on his ass and just manage to glitch right through it. They do that shit all the time.
All right. Well, welcome to the Dropouts podcast, guys. As you can see, we fucking suck at intros, but
I don't see us getting better. So
yeah, I don't think that's anything anyone should be good at unless you're, trying to do a shtick, like, a Let's Player,
right.
where you top of the morning and all that shit. Like
zesty call out.
Yeah. I don't know. But today is gonna be, I guess, our first episode. We recorded another episode, but we decided we didn't introduce ourselves at all, so that's kind of a failure as a first episode to a degree. It'll be like a second or third.
Right, but we could also like Zelda timeline that shit and have this be the second episode as like possibly like a flashback episode.
We're not doing any kind of flashbacks. I don't know what you're talking about with flashbacks or Zelda, because I've never played a Zelda game in my life.
Well, just that average complicated timeline thing where it's like, oh, we're going to show you, and this episode's about what's going on, and then this next episode's going to chronologically take place before the first episode, and then the third episode is going to chronologically take place after the second episode, which would be the first episode.
I love your projecting you're doing, but it feels like you're yelling at me. Do I seem like I'm yelling at you when I project?
Not really.
Okay, it feels like you're yelling.
Am I yelling?
Me.
Am I over projecting?
No, it's not peeking anything out. It just feels like you're yelling at me. I feel like I'm in trouble. Alright, well, we thought we'd introduce ourselves. I don't even know if we said our names because I got so sidetracked by the Let's Play stuff. I'm Nick.
Skylar, obviously.
I'm the main host. He's the sidekick-esque host. If you want to get the power dynamic out of the way, we'll just go ahead and
I'm glad that's the first thing to be laid down. Hey, what's going on? This podcast, we're going to talk about ourselves, but I want to start out with the power dynamic.
Well, we haven't discussed it off camera, so I thought if I did it on camera, then I could almost make it clear that I am the dominant one.
Right. Well, I mean, it may or may not be working. It's an interesting dynamic to start off with. I mean, for sure. Like, I wasn't expecting it.
No, we're co-hosts.
He's just like, just for the record, just a PS, I can fire him and he can't fire me. Okay, look, continue.
Oh, are you saying that from my perspective?
Yes, for your perspective.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not my perspective.
I mean, you didn't put an accent on it or anything. Like, you didn't try and mimic my voice. That makes me sad.
I mean, I could
try and mimic your voice.
I can try and mimic your voice.
Stop. Stop. You sound like Kermit the fucking Frog.
I can do an actual Kermit the Frog, and I'm jealous of everybody that can. Because then you can also do Ray Romano. It's literally the same voice. So it's just context. You literally have two voices to drop straight out the gate.
I've never, I don't know. I didn't watch Everybody Loves Raymond enough to have the Raymond Romano voice stuck in my head to where I can do it.
For some reason I did, even though I never really liked it.
That's weird. Why would you watch it if you didn't like it?
Because it was just on. Like, I mean, I wasn't necessarily watching it. Sometimes I would, but also, I don't know.
We're still not introducing ourselves, by the way. Skylar, you want to introduce yourself a little?
Okay, yeah. I'm Skylar. I like long walks on the beach.
Not a Tinder profile.
Okay. No. Honestly, besides the podcasting, doing some things, I am going to try and get like a Twitch stream thing set back up.
You're starting to mutter.
Well, because I also realized halfway through that I'm just plugging my own shit now. That's me introducing myself. Sorry,
You
I know I
fuck out with that. You like leaned in while you laughed.
It's still something to work on. It's
Well,
still
just
something to work
lean
on.
back when you laugh, and I think you'll be fine. Because
But
it's
yeah.
only your laugh. Your laugh is so bassy.
Right.
It's like a chuckle.
But I mean, I don't know. There's just not really too much to tell. Like, I mean,
You can't tell us about your life to the slightest. Like you.
Oh, I mean, are we going
We're
back
going-
that far? I thought we were
This
just
is
like
first episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, give us a proper
Right.
intro.
So
you
I
don't
think
have
you
to.
should start.
All right. I'm 24.
It's not Tinder profile.
I didn't say it was a Tinder profile, but I thought the age was important. Because you're older than me, and I just like to make that fact known.
Yeah,
you're
28.
old as shit.
Yeah.
No. Besides that, we're both raised in Midwest America.
Unfortunately.
Mostly small towns here. On my end, you've lived in bigger towns.
I mean, I'll throw my town out. I grew up in Wichita, Kansas. I'm born and raised, and I lived there for about 17 years, and then I ended up moving to Oklahoma.
You talking like a mouse.
Am I still talking like a mouse?
You do when you talk about
I
yourself.
don't- I
Stop.
don't know.
It's only when you talk about yourself, dude. You'll when you're putting on this like boisterous, like jokey attitude, you talk normal. But then as soon as you start to talk about yourself, you're just like.
I wonder why that is.
It's like I'm your teacher asking you to speak in
I-
class, dude.
I-
Come on now.
I don't know why that is. I wonder, like, if it's some sort of, I don't know. It might. This podcast might get a little bit more interesting than I thought. It might
Why?
be breaking
Because
into the psyche of
Go ahead.
Skylar.
Into your
Like,
neuroticism.
In my neuroticisms and shit. No. But yeah, no. Like I said, born and raised Wichita, Kansas. Moved to Oklahoma. Haven't really gone too far. Couple places that I've been to. Las Vegas before I was old enough to make it cool. And
Like you lived there?
No, I was just there for like a week.
Are we going through every vacation we've been on with our family? I've been to Branson 4 times. Let me tell you about Silver Dollar City.
Oh yeah. Hey, I've actually been to Silver Dollar City.
It's
like
trash.
Twice. It's kind of trashy. It's not.
It's
that
like
fun.
all shows, and
Not that
if
fun.
you've seen the shows before, they didn't change them this year.
Right.
Maybe
right.
they changed one of them. Maybe they changed the jokes a little, but like.
Still the ones with the cowboys getting shot and falling off the tops of the houses.
Oh yeah, and jokes your dad laughs at, but not you.
Yeah. While you're looking at the ride and shit, like, okay, I don't.
And it's always cold as shit because it's that time of year, I guess, when people go to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention, if you go there in Christmas time, you are backed up on the highway for like an hour.
Oh my
on
god.
that little stretch to get there.
Ew.
It's not. I don't even know if it's called a highway. Just the road to get there.
It's just like a traffic jam. Like you're just literally 0 miles an hour sitting there.
Yeah, pretty
Jesus
much.
Christ.
Last time we were stuck in it, my sister was getting anxious because we were all arguing, and I don't know, maybe. Never mind. I was going to give too much info.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem with doing like, because like, I mean, I like the concept of being able to let you guys know a little bit more about who we are, but at the same time, I'm really like my brain's working overtime trying to vet what should come out of my mouth, like whether it's some personal
stuff,
information.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about ourselves too much this episode. We just want to do a little bit of intro, like why the fuck you should care, if you care, to listen to anything we put out, podcast or YouTube video or otherwise. As far as putting stuff out online, we've both tried and failed at many different things. We've both tried and failed at YouTube. We've both tried and failed at Twitch. And he's tried and failed as a SoundCloud rapper. I think that's all of our credentials as far as failing. We'll get back to you on some success.
Yes. That kind of, and I feel like there are successes in my life. I feel like, looking back even like 4 years ago and how even like my personality was and stuff, like, I mean, that's kind of one of the things that keeps me going is being able to just like assess who I am now and just look back at different periods of my life and like at least be like, hey, like, I feel like I'm doing better than I thought maybe I even would have at one point,
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you gotta take success where you... I mean, it's not even necessarily... Life isn't about success, if we want to talk about, like, that.
No,
like,
I mean, we're gonna get real about it at some point. There's no point in that.
I mean, if you're just looking for success, then you gotta start defining what success is, and then that's where things get complicated. I think it's easier just to look for what makes you happy. Whether that's small things or big things, and then just fuck with that. Like,
and that's my internal goal.
It's that easy. I mean, and that hard at the same time. It's hard to find the things you love and admit that you love those things more than anything else, especially if it's weird shit. Like, you know, I'm sure certain people don't want to admit that they, you know, love sitting at home in their mom's basement playing video games all day, but maybe, you know, they do love it probably, you know? So, you know, to each their own. If that's your version of life, enjoy it, I suppose, you know?
And in a way, that's a victory for them, you know? So, it was one of the ones where, like, just, like, any sort of, like, crazy experiences you may have had while working, like, you know, had some crazy coworkers, stuff like that. I know I had a manager when I worked for a fast food place that was bizarre as hell. And so, like...
Talk about it.
Okay, fuck it. Well, I mean, I was working... Can I say the name of the fast food place? Am I allowed to do that?
I don't know why you couldn't.
Okay. So I was working for Taco Bell at the time.
Did they still have you under contract? Like, are you...
No.
Like, was it that serious of a fast food job?
I don't think I ever signed a contract. Well, I guess it's like your job application's like a contract, right?
I don't know. Does anyone ever read that shit?
I don't.
Not at a fast food place.
No. So, I mean...
You already sold your soul when you, like... started working there. Like, you don't have much else to sell,
right? And yeah, you know, it very well could be. But I had this crazy manager. I was working for Taco Bell at the time, and this guy had a lot of marital problems. I would say he was probably like 42, and like he was just kind of like short, and he always had like these squinty eyes. Like he always looked like he was squinting, and like even like if he was just like looking at you. Or like just working or something. But like he was always like very peculiar. Like he wanted to hang out with a lot of people that he probably shouldn't be hanging out with. Like he always was down to do sketchy stuff. One of my favorite experiences like was he was the manager on duty or whatever, and I ended up coming to work, and I already noticed he was like acting really, really different. Like he was like being really like bubbly and kind of, because like he's normally like pretty fucking depressed.
So he was high, or
no. So he could like you know, he's in the office and like it's some downtime, and I just swing by the office and he's like, "Yo, Skylar, taste this," and I'm like, sure, because like normally we would all like just mix like different pops together and be like, "Dude, try this. This is fucking great, dude. Try it." Like Baja Blast with fucking root beer, shit's awesome. It's not really. It's just an example. but I've tried it.
Sounds disgusting.
I've tried it. It's very disgusting. It doesn't mix. Light and dark doesn't mix. And that's just a universal rule.
I mean,
with beverages.
Dr. Pepper's dark, and you can mix any fruit into Dr. Pepper, and it's not that bad.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give that to you.
And you can mix a lot of fruits into
Dr. Pepper's an anomaly.
And it's not that bad. It's just certain ones, like, it's pretty much the shitty dark sodas you don't mix in. Like, I mean, root beer's good, but you probably shouldn't mix root beer with, like, anything but more, like, vanilla-esque things. Like,
right.
And Pepsi, that shit just sucks. You shouldn't mix anything with Pepsi.
And then, like, the gray, I call it, like, because, like, essentially, it doesn't matter what place you go to, as soon as you mix everything together, including all the diets, just, like, all down the line, it always ends up tasting like bubble gum. Like, this very, like, fake bubble gummy taste.
Suicide just tastes like gross. So suicide's what people it's what it used to be called.
It's what it used to be called.
I don't know. I guess kids thought they'd die if they mixed all the sodas together as a kid.
Well, because it was supposed to be so nasty, it's pretty much suicide, like making your drink like that, because you couldn't get another one, I guess, or something.
I don't know what the reason
I have no idea.
I thought I liked it as a kid, honestly.
Right.
I didn't think it was bad.
No, I liked it too. Like I said, but it always ended up just having a tutti fruity bubblegum taste to me.
Yeah.
Like the Hubba Bubba tape, like how that used to taste. I don't know if you've ever had that.
Yeah, no, you eat like the whole reel at once, right?
No, yeah, you just take it out and then you just bite into it like a savage.
Yeah.
And then you put it back in and then you chew for like 5 times and then you swallow it and then you pull it back out and then you just take another chunk out of it.
I wasn't going to say swallow it, but words straight out of my childhood. That's exactly how I handled it, was just biting out of the side.
I'm telling you. Savagery, but
did you ever try, speaking of like childhood candies, we can branch off into that, like let's go into weird ones, gum specifically, that like gum that came in a bag that was like the baseball themed stuff.
Big League Chew.
Yeah, was it actually gum? I can't quite remember.
Yeah,
I
it
only
was
had
shredded.
It a couple times. It was shredded.
Shredded
That's
gum.
What it was.
It was shredded gum.
Like chew, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's why it's called Big League Chew.
Oh
and
my
like
God.
it would have like the baseball player on it, and you're supposed to just like chaw
Do
it.
they still make that? Because I know they stopped with candy cigarettes.
I believe they do. No, what? Well, no.
It's the same thing. It's tobacco products.
They might have
mimicking.
changed the name. They might have changed it to Big League Gum or something like that now.
Are you looking it up?
I'm actually. I mean, fuck
Okay,
it.
look
Yeah,
it up.
fuck
Look
it. That's the.
I mean, don't like make a big deal out of it. We can talk about other stuff while
Right.
we're looking it up. But,
Right.
Look it up actively.
But
yeah,
yeah,
you don't
no.
have the hotspot set up?
Oh yeah, no. Well, I had it set up and
I'll
everything,
look it
but
up.
then we
You're
took a
good.
break.
You're good.
All right, yeah, check it out. See if if it's still called Big League Chew, because I know I've seen it before. I feel like I've seen it like not just in candy specific shops. I feel like I've seen it like at Walmart or
Oh
a
my
fucking
God.
Walgreens or something.
Okay, that doesn't feel right.
What?
From Amazon, you can. I guess we didn't need to promote Amazon, but
From undisclosed online
yeah,
shopping.
from
company.
online store, you can get a bucket of Big League Chew gumballs. Like that's
That
not
just
Big
ruins
League
the
Chew.
point.
It's once it's a gumball, what? No one's chewing Big League Chew for the flavor. They're chewing it because like it's novelty.
Yeah, that's the point of it. Like,
What is this? They have Big League Chew variety packs. Let's look at this.
what are we talking, like multiple flavors? Because I knew there was grape. I knew there was strawberry.
I remember the grape. They've got sour apple. They've got grape. They got cotton candy.
Oh,
They
cotton
got
candy.
wild pitch watermelon.
Never heard of that.
I should have been saying the full names. Big Rally Blue Raspberry.
Big Rally Blue Raspberry.
Out of Here Original.
That's the one. That's the one that tastes like the drink.
So it was
the suicide
swinging
drink.
sour apple and ground ball grape and
Ground ball
curveball
grape, yep.
cotton candy and wild pitch watermelon. Sorry,
Yep.
I wanted to say their full names. The full name's crap.
The novelty. It's great. It's great. But no, that's what the what is it? Out of Here Original. That's what to me all the suicide drinks end up tasting like if you just mix everything all together.
Yeah, original flavored bubblegum's the worst. Like the only reason to ever chew original was I'm bad with gum names now that I'm an adult and I don't chew bubblegum really.
Hubba Bubba?
No, it's the one that it's in sticks and it's yellow packaging.
Juicy Fruit.
Juicy Fruit. That's
Juicy
the
Fruit's
shit.
the shit.
Juicy
Fruit's
Fruit
the shit.
is the OG best like original flavor.
I feel like
bubble
that's
gum.
like whenever people go for imitation or like a bubblegum flavored like snow cone or something, I feel like that's the flavor that they're striving to get.
I mean, it's like the
Juicy Fruit
epitome
flavor.
of sugar, but like
Exactly.
somehow it's so juicy. Like
I know, and I don't taste any fruit.
I mean, I get it's your own saliva, but like Juicy Fruit like has some saliva triggering like chemicals in it, or
does.
something.
It does.
Like
I'm pretty sure there's actually probably an ingredient in there that triggers your saliva because like I even just thinking about it like
yeah,
my
nostalgia
saliva
from
glands are kinda
Juicy
going
Fruit
nuts.
is making my saliva like
Yeah.
go off. Yeah, for sure. As far as bubblegum, like, do you remember the little rolled ones? What are those called? You're better with the names, it seems like, than me.
The ones that are like rolled like little barrels, like
Yeah.
little gears. I think those are the double bubble, right?
Are they double bubble?
I think it's double bubble.
When you look up rolled gum, you get Hubba Bubba tape, which is also awesome, but we already talked
Yeah,
about
we already talked about that. I think it's called double bubble.
double bubble?
And that's the shit that would always get the hardest and the stalest first, because if you get a Halloween bag mixture, you're not going to start with the double bubble. Like, that's
I would.
just
I'm
to
a
get
savage.
it out of the
Well,
way
no,
first,
because
or-
like I really liked gum as a kid, and I was a savage about it. I didn't do just one piece. It'd be like I'd chew a piece, wait till it lost its flavor, and throw another piece on top of it. I wouldn't spit out the first one. I'd throw another one in. I'd get up to like 7 or 8 pieces.
I've done that quite a few times before until your jaw just is aching.
Yeah, my jaw's locking up, and like older me is like cringing at the idea of doing that much self-harm, but kids like are savages.
It's nothing, and it kind of almost becomes an activity, like to, especially for me, like one of the things I remember is these giant jawbreakers, which I loved because like I was a kid when Ed, Edd and Eddy was on, so like watching that shit as a kid, I was like, oh, I want those giant jawbreakers that are like
Jawbreakers
this big.
always disappointed me because of Ed, Edd and Eddy. Like they weren't as
They
good.
did make them seem
They made
way
them
better
seem like
than they
fucking
are.
crack.
Yeah,
Like,
but no, it's literally just sugar with like a little bit of flavor being farted on the outside.
they also made
of
a quarter seem like a lot of money,
it.
which even as a kid was like nothing. Like,
I know, right? Now like a quarter will buy you like a little fireball
dude,
jawbreaker.
a candy bar costs $2.50 at like a gas station. So.
Maybe like fucking 5 years ago.
No, I think that's. Are you saying they're more than $2.50?
I choose to believe they might be a little bit more than $2.50.
It's like $3 at most, but it's still
Okay, yeah, I am penny pinching at that point. It's not a huge
But you were
amount
talking
more.
about something related to the gun,
Right. Okay. So backtracking, so like he's like, hey Skylar, try this drink, right? And I'm thinking it's like some sort of like suicide drink that he made, and I was like, oh, dude, dope. So like, I take a hearty fucking swig, and it's like literally 3/4 of a cup of vodka and like a little piddle squirt of some like fruit punch in there, and I was like, what the fuck? And so like I was like, okay, I'm gonna kind of stay away from this situation. I'm going back to my post. So like eventually after about an hour, I see this guy. He's just like hanging out, and keep in mind he's got a different colored like shirt than everybody does. He is a like not a manager, but I guess you'd call him like a team leader or a shift leader, whatever the fuck. It's all different names for the same bullshit.
Yeah, they get paid like a quarter more, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're making $7.50. They're making like $8.50.
Yeah.
But so like he's like leaning out the window, just fucking drunk, just like flirting with chicks and like fucking just talking to people. And I think he got super angry with a customer and slammed the fucking window on him and shit. And I was like, okay, this guy is fucked up, And so he was like, oh my god, I'm like, it's weird. It's weird whenever I start a memory and I can like feel it unraveling, and I'm like, oh wow, this is so
just
much.
follow it. Yeah,
it's like this is so much worse than I remember it was.
Yeah, this sounds like some.
Oh no, because see, this was all like fun. I was gonna be like, oh, that's the story. He was super drunk and shit, but I'm remembering now. He wanted to go smoke some weed because he's fucking drunk. I mean, he was like pretty bad, and so like he was like, okay, Skylar, you go ahead and clock out, like, because it was about the end of my shift.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna clock out or whatever, and somebody else can run the store for a little bit. I need you to drive my truck to my friend Blank's, because Blank has some weed that he'll sell us. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how to drive a stick shift. I've never driven a stick shift in my life. And so like I'm like freaking out because like just this drunk dude's next to me making me drive his fucking car, and we're going to get weed, and like I'm already a little paranoid about it. I think it was
Did you manage to drive it?
barely.
You actually could drive it despite not knowing
Barely,
how?
because he was like drunkenly giving me directions from the side. But I mean, he knew. Apparently, he was a pretty decent drunk driver because I made his ass drive on the way back when we had the weed on us. I was like, this whole thing is like this guy's mission. I'm not gonna get busted behind the wheel with a bag of weed in the car, and this dude's drunk as hell. Like, he's gonna take the drunk driving.
I feel like they give you some charges for letting him drive.
Probably, but I mean, I can just say I don't know how to drive a stick shift, which I didn't.
You'd have to throw him under the bus actively, though.
Yeah, which I mean, thankfully it never even came to that.
Yeah, you'd have to be snitching.
Yeah, and I don't do snitching.
Oh, dude, it sounds like you were planning to.
I wasn't planning to. I was just
You really shouldn't say that kind of stuff online. You're gonna end up in a ditch.
I was not planning on snitching on him. I was just saying I'm not gonna take the fall for any of the bullshit that happens on this little adventure that I got dragged onto, because fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, no, fuck this guy. But like, So I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit because I think about 2 weeks later, I had a friend that I did D&D with over the phone at the time. Like, he lived here in town, but like I was living with my dad, and that it was like a pretty crazy situation, and didn't really have transportation anywhere. So like we'd meet up every once in a while because he worked at Taco Bell with me, and like sometimes we'd go over to his house after work and then D&D. Other times we'd just be over the phone, like, and then he'd be DMing and like I'd be like, rolling my character and shit.
Over the phone?
Over the phone, yeah. I mean, it works. It works. I think
you guys couldn't, like, go to your local library and pull up a webcam? I don't know, like D20?
Nah, we had a really tough, like, trust system when it came to rolls. Like, I've never, and trust me, I get tempted just as much as the next person to try and flub a roll, especially if you get the opportunity and something fucking terrible is going to happen to your character.
No, I mean, like, but they have programs where you can, role play online and it rolls the dice on them.
Oh, yeah. See, I would have to have gone to the library for that. And I think
you didn't have any kind of computer access at home? I was kind of joking about the library shit.
No, not at all. No, I had my smartphone, that was it. And it was kind of like a ZTE fucking $109 with a Cricket plan, like, bullshit phone.
Did you feel that shake? Was that just my neighbor slamming a door? That was
possibly. I was wondering what that was. Jesus. But yeah. So fast forward a couple weeks, and I bought myself a 24-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonades. It was like a red, white, and blue, like, American version.
The things you admit on a podcast.
I don't care, dude.
Mike's Hard Lemonade.
I don't care, man.
Pack.
I mean, you know what? I don't like the taste of beer. I mean, I'll drink it if I have to, but like, I'm not like.
I'm not hating on your dislike of beer, because I understand. I only like some beers, and even then, I don't really like them enough to get drunk off of them.
Right.
But to go, like, why do you not just jump to liquor? The in between of Mike's Hard Lemonade is weird to me.
Honestly, it kind of goes a little deep. The reasons why. Honestly, mostly because this was when I was living with my dad after a period of not living with him for a long time. And the kind of person that my dad is the egotistical narcissist, so he felt it upon himself to kind of run shit like a dictatorship in the house, but very, very like hypocritically, the best way.
I think most dictators do it hypocritically.
Actually, yeah, you might be right.
I think that's kind of the point of being a dictator, is that you do things.
You don't have to follow your own rules. Right. Yeah. So, like, essentially, he was like, because this is when I first turned 21. So this was like when I was like 21. And he didn't want, like, me to start on liquor because, like, our whole childhood he had a liquor problem, and he was like, oh, I'm still gonna try and instill values.
His decision.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
I feel bad about giving you shit.
Oh, dude, I don't care. That's the whole point. Like, I don't even know if we actually brought this up. Oh yeah, we did earlier, but just kind of talking about ourselves thing. I don't mind it. But like, so essentially that was his kind of rule for a while. I like. Even though he would still be drinking liquor and getting blackout drunk and getting into fistfights and shit like that. Just crazy stuff. But, so, it was kind of that was kind of his thing. Like, so that's how I started. I started on the Mike's Hard Lemonades and stuff like that. Once I moved out of his house.
But did you not drink until 21? Is that what because I know that was at his house.
No, he would let me drink every once in a while when I was 20. Very rare occasions. Most of the time, no.
You never snuck out and drank before you were...
I have a couple times.
Like when you were younger, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. No,
I was about to say, because how did I start drinking at a younger age than you?
The first time I ever drank was when I was in, I believe I was fucking 17. And I was hanging out at my friend's house, and their mom was like super cool. But she was like kind of responsible cool. She was like very liberal, like very hardcore liberal. Their whole family was. Mm-hmm. And so like when I was 17, I believe it was my friend's 18th birthday. And so we were at his house, and we got like a bottle of like Jack Daniels, I think. And it was just me and him. And like his parents were like, okay, come get us if anything, like, if anything happens, like,
oh my God.
do not leave the house.
A bottle of Jack Daniels to 2 teenagers, just go ahead.
Yeah, it was like a fifth. It was like a fifth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it was like a fifth. It wasn't like a bottle.
I was about to say,
no.
They're trying to kill y'all.
No, it was like a fifth. But, like, and they bought, like, a shit ton of pizza and stuff like that, just made sure they were
Why are they throwing you a party?
It wasn't for me. It was my friend's birthday.
Oh, it was his birthday.
Yeah, it was his birthday.
I blanked on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's fine. No, yeah, no, it was his birthday. So, like, and, like, I was, like, pretty much his best friend at the time. And, like, he was, like, my best friend. So, like,
That's what all he wanted for his birthday was to get smashed with his friend. We can honor that.
It was the funniest shit ever.
Dude, stupid shit happens when you're smashed. And you guys were young, too. Like, those parents just passing off on it cracks me up. I mean, I definitely knew parents like that were okay with drinking to a degree. I mean, I guess my parents were, like...
And, I mean, they kept an eye on us. And they honestly, for as responsible as parents who are letting kids underage drink in their house can be, they were pretty fucking responsible.
Yeah.
Like, I think I ended up that night just sitting there and watching the Tenacious D movie with his mom. Like, and we were just like...
They hung out with you while you were drinking.
Well, they were hanging out in the living room because they always stayed... Like, his mom... his dad was a trucker, so, like, a lot of times he wasn't there. And his mom was stay at home because she was... I mean, for just lack of a better term, she was about 300, 400 pounds. Oh. So, yeah. So, she was staying at home, and... She had a Loratab problem.
Oh, yeesh. Okay, we don't need to know all this.
Okay, yeah. No, that's going too far. See, that's what I'm saying, though. That's why it's a little bit hard to, like...
Well, I mean, it's fine
I don't want to delve too much. Yeah, you're right. No. See, that's what happens. You get a little bit too far with that. So, anyways, dialing it back.
You didn't say a name, right?
No, I didn't say a name. Yeah. No, I made sure not to say names. I'm not, I'm trying not to do that.
Okay, I just didn't want to have to search for a fucking name.
Right, and plus, like, okay, yeah, my friends whose moms had Loratab problems, that narrows that down to, like, I don't know, 12. So that doesn't, like...
Yeah.
That doesn't really, like, single anybody out.
Lots of moms have Loratab problems in Oklahoma and the Midwest.
So dialing it back, so she didn't sleep. She usually stayed up, at nights and, like, just kind of hung out on her computer in the front room. And then, she was...
She played a lot of WoW?
No. She played a lot of Facebook.
That's so sad. How are you going to be 300 to 400 pounds, have a Loratab problem, and not play an MMO of some sort? That's tragic, dude. She could have been gaining... She would have so many mounts.
I mean, she played Animal Crossing on GameCube.
No. MMOs. That's what 300 to 400 pound people... Okay, not insulting MMO people, because I'm an MMO person, and I'm not 300 to 400 pounds. But if I was, you think I wouldn't continue to play WoW? Nah.
I mean, you're right. Like, I mean, you're not wrong there, but... Yeah, I don't know.
Like, if I'm not able to get up from my computer chair, I'm gonna live a life in WoW where I'm skinny. Mm-hmm. Like...
It was all just mindless Facebook shit. Just mindless Facebook computer game stuff like that.
Ooh. Like Peggle and shit?
Yeah. Peggle, Farmville, shit like that.
I mean, that shit's... I mean, you can do that and play WoW at the same time, too. That's the amazing thing about being stuck
I don't think there would have been an interest in WoW. She's, like, old school.
Okay, EverQuest, whatever the fuck. I don't care.
I'm trying not to, like, laugh and peek out the fucking camera.
You can laugh. You don't have to snicker.
No, I mean, it's just... Well, I gotta watch for the boisterous ones. You're the one who
edits the audio.
I gotta watch for the boisterous ones. It makes it easier for everybody involved. Yeah, the boisterous ones. Uh-huh. So, anyways, dialing it back before that.
Yeah, the drunken party with your friend.
Yeah, so dialing it back.
Hanging out with his mom.
Yeah, no, see, that even got too far in itself because the original story I was telling was why I had the Mike's Hard Lemonade 24-pack at my dad's house.
Look, we're following this until I have officially not said anything and the podcast is over. Like, as far as about my story about jobs and...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at this point, we're going to do your story in the full podcast.
Oh, shit.
No,
yeah.
I'm joking.
Oh, okay. Scared me for a minute.
You took it so seriously.
Well, no, it's just
the
like
look on your face.
Well, I worry about over talking because I think I could have.
I'm derailing you into tangents just as much as you're choosing to follow them.
I mean, fair enough.
We talked about candy for like 15 minutes because I derailed
Gum
you.
specifically. I don't
Gum
think we talked about
specifically.
anything
We didn't
else.
talk about any other candy, and I am not finished with gum.
Big Jawbreakers. Oh yeah, you still got some in the bag back there. You're like, I'm gonna bring this back up after the story.
No, probably after the podcast. We're not finished with gum. But
Okay, fair enough.
continue your Mike's
So
Hard
the
story.
Mike's Hard Lemonade story, I was out there like,
For people who need timestamps, fuck you.
like I said, I think I just turned 21. I was like 21.
No, I meant as far as when was the last time in the video we were telling this story.
Oh fuck yeah,
Probably
no.
10 minutes ago.
God, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, continue.
But yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, remember I was talking about like earlier before the podcast, I was talking about like the like having our still releasing this as the second episode, but as the first episode and having like a convoluted timeline. We don't have to do that multiple episodes. We could just do that with our tangents. We can just have like a fucking...
I don't know what you mean. We're just going to release this as the first episode.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to handle it. What do you mean as far as like tangents?
Well, yeah, no, I was kind of joking about releasing this one as the second one, so that way we could have like how every like most shows have a trope of like the first episode takes place like nowadays, and then the second episode's like kind of like a flashback to before when the first episode is, and then the third episode takes place directly after the second episode.
Where did you get to this from Mike's Hard Lemonade is my question. You still have failed to continue that story. What are you on about? Go back to your story.
Okay. Now I'm just derailing myself. That's the only problem here.
You're self-destructing.
I'm self-destructing. Okay, see, I was playing D&D with my friend in the over the phone in the basement because that's just what I did. It was nice in there. I could relax. I could chill. I could smoke a cigarette. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, just hang out and play.
Okay, we got it.
But like, so he ends up while in the middle of my gaming session, he ends up showing up in my house, knocking on my door, drunk as shit. Apparently, his fucking
Again? He was drunk as shit again? Was this a reoccurring thing? Like,
that he drank? Yeah, probably.
Like, but I mean, like, how often was he a problem in your life that your boss was drinking?
The weird fact that is like this is literally the 2 or 3 times. I mean, he's come over a couple times either before or after.
Oh, you hung out with him, like, outside of work a lot?
I mean, but the point I wanted to reiterate earlier was he just showed up and knocked on the door and then hung out with my dad.
He didn't hang out with you?
No, and not only that, he drank 3/4 of my 24-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonades.
Wait, but why was he drinking your 24-pack if you weren't hanging out? Like, why was it out there?
Because it was just out there. I don't know. I was just grabbing beers and pulling it in because my dad didn't drink those. So, like, I just left it out there. I was just like, yeah, I'll just run and grab beer and bring it back out. And, you know, I don't have to be worried about it. I don't have to worry about my fucking boss showing up and drinking.
Your boss was just smashed in your front room with your dad?
Oh, no, he came in. He was like, what's going on, Skylar? And I'm like, oh, yeah, dude, no, I'm on the phone with somebody. You know, we're kind of just doing a D&D thing. He's like, oh, man. Speakerphone, dude, let me get in on that. I'm like, dude, no. I'm like, he's like, oh yeah, dude, speakerphone it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna speakerphone it. Like, I'm talking to my friend, and like somehow I ended up speakerphoning it. I don't know, but like I speakerphoned it for a little bit, and like he just sat there and he just like kind of started passing out. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? I was like, get out of here, like. I'm doing something, like, you didn't even tell me you were coming over. And so, like, ended up kicking him out. And, like, after he, like, literally I had, like, 3 beers left out of a 24-pack. And I drank maybe fucking 5 of them, probably. So, like, that was bullshit.
You didn't have to deal with his drunk ass after that, though?
A couple more times after that, but that was it.
Okay.
The very last time was we ended up kicking him out the very last time, and
he just kept coming over to your house.
Yeah, he just knock on the door, come over, just try and kick it, because this fucking wife's crazy, and she tried to run his fucking car off the road, which she actually did. Like, his car ended up in the ditch outside of Taco Bell because she tried to run him off the road because she's crazy, I guess. That was his whole excuse, and I kind of believe it. Yeah. Because the very last time that I ever saw him come over to the house, and then even ever after that, because he got fired shortly after. I mean, obviously.
Dude was he was showing up to work drunk.
Yeah. So, like, the very last time that I saw him, he came over, and he's like hanging out with my dad and me, and like we're not even really doing anything. Like we're not even really drinking. Like he's just hanging out, and we're like, okay, dude, you have to leave. Like, and so he sits on our porch for, I shit you not, 2.5 hours, and we can hear him just talking, I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh,
like,
wow. He'd already burned his bridge at home and he like planned on.
I think he tried coming over and hanging out for a little bit. And I was not cool with it. I was not cool with it.
Tragic.
But so ends the tragic tale of the Taco Bell manager.
All right. Well, I don't personally have any good work stories myself that I can think of off the top of my head. I've been trying to rack my brain. Nothing compares to a manager who is like that. Like, I never had anything that bad. I've had asshole managers, but everyone has. And I've had good managers. Everyone has. Coworkers, I don't give a fuck about them most of the time, so couldn't tell you about their lives or what's going on. Try not to get involved. But you've talked about drinking a lot, so I think we'll talk about drinking some more, at least as far as my perspective, because it's weird to me that I am
proficient in that topic.
That you drink more than me nowadays. Maybe you've cut back now, but you, for the most part, you drink more than me. But I think I started drinking earlier than you, it sounds like, because like I never thought about it, but like it is probably weird that my parents allowed drinking on holidays. Like you could have a daiquiri on Christmas at like 10. You know, like maybe not 10, 12. I don't know. Like it was like a small glass of like strawberry daiquiri or like a small glass of margarita, but like that's fucking tequila and rum. Like it wasn't even like a fucking Smirnoff Ice they giving us. Like they're giving us an actual mixed drink. And I don't know. I was thinking about that when you were describing how your dad, who's an alcoholic, only allowed you to drink Mike's Hard Lemonade, and I'm just thinking, what the fuck? My perspective is skewed.
Well, I mean, there was no rhyme or reason behind it, and that was kind of the point. I think a lot of times, like when you live with a tyrant like that, whoever it may be, whether it be a family member, whether it be like somebody you're in a relationship with, whenever you live with like an egotistical narcissist, especially one that wants to kind of be a tyrant or has any sort of authority over you. It's like, I mean, it's constant, like, it's a constant battle. And then on top of that, like, they can always make themselves out to somehow like justify their actions in their head by playing themselves as a victim, because essentially like life's a stage for these guys,
narcissists.
Yeah.
I get you.
Everybody else is just background characters. And so like when you live with a tyrant like that, like they just flex. That's all they do. They just flex on you because they can.
It was a flex.
They can. I believe it was.
Okay.
I believe it was. I don't believe. I can honestly say I believe there was probably a very small shred of actual like concern for my self-interest.
When was the first time you tasted liquor? You described the first time you got drunk.
First time I tasted it was at a Rocky Horror Picture Show when I was 16.
Dude, at like... Okay, I probably got a sip of a margarita at like... probably before this, but I could say at least 12 or 14. I remember at one point sneaking downstairs after everyone had fallen asleep and pouring myself a glass of vodka thinking I was gonna like give it a try, and I poured a lot, and I took one sip of that before running to the sink and spitting it out. Like, so it's just crazy to me that you didn't try it till 16.
You know what? Accidentally. That's the only other time I've tried it before 16. It was accidental. I believe I was in 8th grade.
You weren't, like, fascinated by the idea of trying this, like, forbidden thing?
Not really. Not really.
I guess that's a good thing on your part. I wanted to try it, like...
I mean, I just, like I said, I've accidentally tried it a couple times, and I think that was kind of like, I'm not a fan of that,
I definitely didn't try it again for a very long time after that vodka incident. Outside of like the sips of other people's margaritas and daiquiris on holidays, which those don't really taste like alcohol, and not when my mom's making them.
Right.
I remember when she started letting me make her margaritas, like in high school. I would make her margaritas while she sat outside sunbathing, and she would get mad because I would put like a good amount of liquor in there. I don't play, you know.
I don't play that Shirley Temple shit, dog.
Well, no, like it still tastes good. Like it just don't fucking not taste like she's the kind of person who like she'll get a mixed drink at like a Chili's. And she'll complain it's got too much liquor in it and ask for them to bring out another. Like
that ruins it for everybody else. Like all the rest of us that get mixed drinks at Chili's, and it's too weak.
Yeah, she'll like order a shot glass of mixer to pour into the drink to dilute it more.
What's a shot glass of mixer gonna do? Like if
just further dilute the liquor.
I guess. I mean,
she's crazy about it. I don't know. She's like a lightweight to the extreme when it comes to alcohol. Who cares? And then like beyond like trying it occasionally on holidays, the first time I got drunk was, I can't remember if I was 16 or 17. I know I could drive, and it was with a mutual friend of ours, Logan, and another mutual friend of ours, James.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was already super anxious about like planning on getting drunk because like I didn't even know what drunk was.
Right.
Like that concept was alien to me.
Right.
And Logan had to obviously drank plenty before, so he was almost shocked that it was such an alien encounter for me. But you know, I was anxious about it, and we went to the gas station to stop before going over to James's, and I was going in to get some energy drinks because we were planning on being up late, and I was dumb and didn't realize that drinking with energy drinks is probably a horrible idea your first time.
Used to be widely accepted. The OG Four Locos, man.
Those were not widely accepted. They were banned almost instantly.
They were banned pretty quickly, but
almost instantly the OG Four Locos were banned.
Can say during my high school stint, I have had a couple OG Four Locos.
Disgusting.
And you know what? Even though they took the caffeine out of them, it still just hurts you the same.
Oh, it's it's like toxic waste. If you guys have never had a Four Loco,
don't.
They only cost like $1. Go get one.
You will hate yourself.
You'll get fucking smashed.
You will.
For $1 or something.
The worst part is you'll get smashed about halfway through, and you really shouldn't drink the other half, but you're smashed enough. You're like, fucking, this is apple juice,
It's just ridiculous
bro.
how cheap they are for how smashed you get.
Oh, yeah, no, they've got me for
what they
a lot
have
of
in
times.
there. Like, honestly, as far as liquor content, I've never looked into it, but it hurts.
It hurts your body and your soul. Mostly your stomach. I think it eats away at the inside of your stomach lining.
All right, guys. Welcome back. So it crashed because I don't know if I'm going to leave it in, but the drive was filling up. It's been saving on to the SSD and not to the storage drive, and it filled it. So I get to deal with that later. Hopefully it was just a temporary file, and once I export it, it'll get rid of it. But
yeah,
I still got to clear out other junk from my SSD probably that has gone there accidentally. Either way, that's not what we're talking about. We were talking about how awful Four Locos were because we talked about me buying energy drinks.
Yes.
Either way, I was anxious about drinking hardcore for the first time, and when I'm going outside, I'm ready to start talking to my friend about drinking immediately. So as soon as I sit in my car, turn to say something about drinking alcohol, and there's a cop in the window.
Oh, shit.
Like, the window's down, and there's a cop just sitting there, like, and I'm just like, oh, hi. And he's like, what are you guys up to? And I was like, we're just stopping here at this gas station to get some energy drinks. We're planning on staying up late and playing games. Yeah. I instantly go into cover story mode.
Right.
I think this was probably one of my first interactions with the cop, if not my first interaction with the cop. And
so did you have the liquor on you?
No, we were going to James's to drink. He had the liquor. He was already 21, I'm pretty sure. So like, we had the hookup.
Right.
But no, it seemed officer wasn't gonna let us necessarily get away that easily, because he was like, he apparently had stopped us because at the time I drove a white 1998 Ford F-150, and that's a pretty freaking common truck in Oklahoma.
If that's the truck I'm thinking of, I remember that.
Yeah. And apparently that same night, someone had been robbing people out in the country, like taking people's guns. Because apparently that's the thing to steal is people's guns. That's
the serial numbered, highly watched, highly checked, easily called in.
Apparently it's better than electronics. Electronics are apparently worthless if you steal them most of the time.
Guns are scarier.
Criminals will buy them. You file off the number and you're good.
Yeah.
How do you think those guns get in the market? Is, I guess, from people stealing them most of the time, probably. Yeah. I don't know. But that's why the cop had stopped us. Just pure happenstance that the same vehicle like had been used in like a crime that night. So he was just double checking us. But while he had us, did we happen to know that it was past curfew?
What time was it?
11 or something. I think curfew's 10, right?
I believe it's like 10 or 11.
I think maybe it's 10. Yeah, for like under 18.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's 10. Yeah. It's weird to me that there's a curfew. Alien nowadays. As an adult.
Right?
Like, why?
I forgot that was a thing, dude.
Yeah. You're not allowed to just be out and about as a kid. But either way, so luckily my parents were out of town. And so I was able to cop out and get my sister to come get us. Because he was not going to let us just leave and go back to my house. Even though we were at the gas station that was like very close, like a block or two away from my house, and I was like, you could escort us back or whatever. He was not down for that. He's like, you're gonna have to call a parent and have them come here right now.
You can escort us back.
Yeah. And nope, he was not okay with that. So luckily we didn't get fucked. Sister came and got us, or came up, he left, she took us back home, and then we left to go drink. We left like immediately.
So you ended up drinking that night anyways.
Oh yeah, we weren't gonna not drink. That was still the first night I drank. I wasn't gonna pass that up. It was when my parents were out of town. Like, those opportunities don't come around too often. Pretty much every time my parents went out of town, I took advantage and did something stupid in my life, and that's why it got too predictable. And that's why one time I got caught. And that's why, when we were all, on a completely separate occasion, well after my parents are mad at me for other things that we'll talk about maybe later on the podcast, we're trying to get something together while my parents are in town, but this time we're doing it at my place. And it's a small thing. It's going to be me, Logan, and one other friend. And Logan's going to bring a 30-pack of PBR. And we're just going to chill and drink and play video games. That's all we were planning to do.
Right.
But we got popped. It wasn't long before, parents were showing up from, every family instantly. And my parents who were out of town were on their way home.
God, no.
It was a pretty quick turnaround. They had planned it. They had people watching for it, apparently, in the neighborhood.
What was the sentence on that crime?
I don't know. I was, in permanent trouble at the time, so I don't know if they could really do anything.
We've already pushed him to his trouble limit. How much farther can we go?
Well, I was already pretty much perma-grounded, not allowed to go out and hang out with friends unless I had really been a good boy lately, kind of thing. I was on a bad probation to a degree, kind of thing. They weren't. Nah, I barely got out. That's why anytime they were out of town, I fucked around.
Because that's the only opportunity you got.
It was just a good one. After that, I learned to just do it on my own. I just would get drunk on my own, or high on my own when they were out of town. Yeah, I just didn't invite friends over anymore, and they weren't gonna come over after they got in trouble that one night.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
They were out.
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
Yeah. It was interesting because we'd went outside to smoke a cigarette. We hadn't even started drinking yet. We had the 30-pack of PBR sitting on the counter, and we went out to smoke a cigarette and in the backyard, and we just see someone moving around inside, and I go in while they fucking try and duck off, and that ended up not working out. For some reason they came in. I don't know. One of them wasn't willing to run. I can't remember which, but one of them was not willing to just ditch. I don't know. They probably should have.
Yeah, that probably would have been the best option.
That way their parents didn't have to get involved because they were pissed, dude. I don't know why they were so mad about a 30-pack of PBR. Like, calm down.
I mean, how many people was it total?
3.
Like 10 beers apiece.
We weren't going to drink that much.
And obviously nobody's drinking,
Yeah. The only reason we got a 30-pack of PBR is because someone else bought it for us. Like, it's not like we chose a 30-pack of PBR at 16 or something.
Bro, we need a 30-pack stat.
Well, yeah, we knew we wanted a 30-pack.
Yeah. Oh, you just didn't choose PBR.
Nah, they did.
What would you prefer?
We were kids. We didn't choose.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like, what? What am I going off of? The Budweiser / Bud Light my dad had in the fridge? That shit tastes like ass. PBR ain't much better, but...
Nah, it's really not. Everybody loved PBR. And, like, even bringing it back up to 4
Everyone
Locos.
loves Bud Light now.
Yeah.
Bud Light's hot.
Bud Light's popping. I mean, even...
It's basically just beer water, but people love beer water.
I don't understand.
I mean, it's not like I like a robust beer. I mean, I'll drink a Guinness, but, like, people like beer water.
I mean,
for everyday drinking.
The only reason I would think so is because it's super easy to drink really fast.
Yeah, you can drink a shit ton of
because especially like
or a Bud Light.
Yeah, not so much anymore because they actually changed the Oklahoma laws saying that you can't have like higher than 3.2
Oh yeah, we did have
beers.
3 point for a
So
long time.
Bud Light meant you can chug them fast enough to get drunk before a headache sets in.
Yeah, that's
like,
the worst part about 3 point beers, having to drink
Yep.
so much of it.
I can't
Get drunk off of it? Yeah, it's a pain.
I can't go back to 3.2 beers and I can't go back to Reggie because both of those just seem like headaches.
Yeah, they were headaches. Literal headaches.
Yes. But they got me through so many bad times too, so...
But that was pretty much the end of it. Like, no, there was literally no punishment I don't think of. That I can think of. They literally couldn't do anymore, so...
Are we just gonna send him to army? Or make him a missionary in the
At
Congo?
this point, like, when they were mad, I just kind of sat there silent and shrugged occasionally. Like, I was probably very frustrating to deal with. It's not...
Deflection mode.
It wasn't deflection. Like, a lot of the time, I was just waiting until one of them said something that pissed the other one off, and then they started arguing amongst themselves and left me out of it. And then eventually, I'd slink off to my room.
God, how many how many awkward just sitting there while your parents are arguing bullshit? That was always the worst.
That happened a lot in my house, so I got pretty
Mine
used
too.
to it, to the point where it seems normal when I think on it, but it's not normal.
Not so much with my stepdad, but back when my real dad and my mom were together, definitely arguing all the fucking time. And my aunt and my uncle argued all the time too. And I'm pretty sure my grandma and my grandpa argued all the time, and their grandma.
But
and grandpa.
I'm not talking like bickering. I'm talking like straight up like insulting each other, like on a character level, you know. Like, talking shit. Like, that's the kind of thing my parents would do. Like, it was so easy to... Like, it wasn't even something you didn't have to try to turn them against each other. They were ready to be against each other.
All they needed was a little spark.
Yeah, dude, half the time, and, like, it was, like, one of them would go a little too far on me, and the other one would start to defend me. and then they'd be, like, going at each other because of that. And, like... It sounds really fucked up. I need to talk to a therapist. I'm saying it out loud, and it sounds so much worse than I remember it. Like
I told you, man. I told you. Like it's the little like band, like the ribbon band of memories that everybody just like doesn't really know where the end leads. But you can uncover it a little bit more as you go along. Like so many experiences I've had just. As soon as I remember one scene, it's like, oh shit, I remember what happened next. I forgot I remembered that. Like, you just unravel it.
Yeah, podcasts are a slippery slope as far as tangents and memories. Like,
definitely.
I mean, we definitely experienced that today. We went from bubblegum to your attempt at a work story, which went to alcohol, and then finished with me needing therapy. So... That was an interesting roller coaster. I do think we should maybe wrap it up here.
Yes, I
between
agree.
The first 55 or minute so clips, and then this one that's 12 minutes.
That's a solid hour. That's not bad.
We're gonna end up with something around an hour. This one, it's kind of weird that it's going to end up being our first podcast because it's going to have a lot of jump cuts because of all the fucking issues.
Well, that's excusable when you first getting your footing. You know?
Yeah, but it's not our first one. The other one went way smoother. You'll see. Our second episode that we're going to put out about us talking about dropping out, stay tuned. It went a lot smoother. The lighting was worse. The camera was worse.
The aperture was terrible.
Okay, trying to sound smart over there.
Aperture was terrible.
Oh, yeah, stop.
But everybody says the aperture's terrible on the fucking camera.
Right. You've repeated yourself 3 times.
Don't even, because I can't understand what it means.
It's the ability to like take in light. So that's why it looked blurry, because not every pixel was getting the same amount of light.
No, okay.
Or something along those lines.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I know it's just isn't that the thing? It goes like kind of, you know.
I don't know. We're wrapping it there.
Yeah, we're wrapping it there. Like I said, the quality's going to be a little bit different on the next episode, but that's just because we're kind of...
Yeah.
Like I said,
the quality is going to be constantly improving. So look forward to that. It's going to go...
Look forward to
It's going to be weird, because it's going to go from this episode that's weird, jump cuts, to next episode where it's one decently long thing.
And then slightly rotated about halfway through.
Lower quality and video aspects. And then the third episode... It's going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be fucking perfecto.
We're going to both have headsets so we can hear ourselves.
It's going to look fancy.
Yeah, no.
We're going to have 3 cameras running.
We'll set up a TV right here. So that way you guys can see what we see.
Right. We can, we'll like set it up so that way we can just be like playing a video game while we're talking to each other.
That's awesome.
It'll be a video game podcast. We can play outwards. You don't have to do...
I'm going to adopt a toy dog that can sit here on a tiny little bed.
Aww. Those things are probably expensive as fuck.
It's going to be all of our budget.
But then what are we going to buy the 30 packs of PBR with?
All right.
All right.
That was that on that callback, we're done.
We're done.
Peace.
Later.